A Muse Daydream, the best of Season 1 by Jill Badonsky. One thing this pandemic may have affected is how we experience our sense of belonging. Some of us are isolated and removed from the usual places we get our sense of belonging. Many of us are compensating with Zoom and socially distanced get-togethers, but it's a good time to consider different angles of the concept of belonging. But that may require thinking a little differently, which is the essence of being creative. Consider these angles. If you're into a creative pursuit, you belong to your creativity, and it belongs to you. You belong to your body. If you're like me, you belong to your cats. You may belong to the community of people who think the way you do, and are experiencing the same things in this pandemic as you do. And if you're like me, you belong to people who are a little clumsy, don't follow the rules, and are maybe a little different. If you would like to belong to the feeling of grace that comes when we accept our imperfections, listen for the first time or again to one of my favorite episodes of A Muse's Daydream, Shepherd's Pie. You're invited to belong to the same flock I do. Thanks for listening. Shepherd's Pie by Jill Badonsky. The door had a sign on it that said, "No entrance." So I climbed through the window. Legs first, flailing and feeling for a surface to land on. Found one. Whoops. I stepped in the shepherd pie sitting on the table, and a voice in my head said,
"What's the matter with you?"
And I felt mashed potatoes seeping into my Converse sneakers. I am familiar with the concept of clumsy, but this is the first time it included mashed potatoes. It smelled good, savory, just the right amount of garlic. People were gathered around the table with the casserole of the shepherd's pie within which I had my left foot. They were saying grace. I've also never been clumsy in the middle of grace. Much to my surprise, they all just smiled and passed the applesauce. Not sure what to say. First thing that came to mind is, well, anyone know why I wasn't supposed to come through the door? A lady wearing a wide-brimmed black hat with a daisy and a polka dot band replied, "Honey, none of us were supposed to. We all stepped in the shepherd pie. We just feed it to the dog." Everyone laughed, and I realized I wasn't alone, which felt a lot like grace. I sat with the flock and had applesauce and then a lovely cobbler with apples and cinnamon and whipped cream. And then I went home and wrote this. Sometimes we're clumsy. Sometimes we're disorganized. Unfocused, entitled, and arrogant, judgmental, passive-aggressive, unkempt, selfish, slovenly, ignorant, lazy, daffy, neurotic, melodramatic, petty, cowardly, belligerent. We can be like that. We're in a tribe of people who come with those features. We're not perfect. It's okay. Sometimes we are decent, generous, kind people. That's okay too. We're not alone. We have a flock that we belong to, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like it. When we're ourselves and climb through windows, we find them. But maybe look in the window first, because turns out mashed potatoes are hard to get out of shoes, especially the ones with eyelets that hold those laces. Be kind to yourself. Be safe.